Okay. Let's stay with basketball and then we'll get to wrestling. You alluded to it there. Uh, Penn State men's basketball wrapped up its season with a loss, a tight loss to Indiana. Um, Tough to beat a team three times in a row. I don't care what sport it is. It's pretty tough to do. We talked about this a little bit last week. I wrote about it on the blog. What is Mr. Samsel's assessment of the first year of the Mike Rhoades era?
It's what I expected. I mean, I expect them to be 500-ish, play good ball. Didn't expect them to make the tournament. Um, he seems like the right guy. They're doing the right things. Um, so yeah, I think it was maybe not a roaring success, but it was a pretty darn. I mean, because I think if you're a hardcore fan, you can look at some tight losses and say, "Geez, Louise, how could we have done that?" Right? And feel really good about it. And I think with the players he had to cobble together to get it. He's going to, apparently get fish say Pittsburgh. Yeah, I know. He'll, you got to be optimistic. So I think it was a good season. What about you?
Yeah, I think all things considered a solid B plus. Like there's nothing wrong with a B plus. Like I I think there's gonna you look back at the schedule, like you said, like there are a couple losses that are like that Georgia Tech loss, which kind of was by the hands of the officials. You look at kind of a couple of those little run losses there in the middle part of the season and even in the early part of the season, and it's like, yeah, kind of maybe probably could have been 2 to 3 wins better. Um, but yeah, I think I feel comfortable. Like I think after the first year of Micah Shrewsbury, like I think there was a little bit of unknown still with him, and I think obviously to be fair to Mike Rhoades, like there's still an unknown with him. But what I do like is it's just like it's hard to put your finger on, and it sometimes, but it just kind of feels like there might be a little bit of momentum kind of rebuilding again. Then it might not take as long as we thought it was going to be with a coach departing that quickly. Um, I'm interested to see what happens in the offseason. And I think really the two big questions, of course, are Ace Baldwin and Puff Johnson. And if they stay, like I said, there's no reason that they shouldn't make the tournament. They're particularly if those two play the way that they played toward the end of the season, really after the Kanye Clary dismissal. They found a groove. They found another gear that I think that can kind of provide a little bit of leadership. Um, and I don't know. I think people are paying a little bit more attention in a good way to Penn State basketball and not in a negative way. And I think that's something to build on. Like if you're an administrator or you're the coach, um, because I think we realize collectively in the Shrewsbury era that if you win, people do care about Penn State basketball. You just got to get there first, and like that's the tough part, but it's enough to be a building block. And I don't know. I really think I think there's a very good chance if those two stay, like we're sitting here talking about it next year, talking about a tournament team, um, in my mind.
I think the Clary move, the no longer with the team move for Clary, was as important for the fan base as it was for the play on the court, right? Because we're in NIL era, right? And the guys are making money and whatever else. But this paints Mike Rhoades as, look, we're here to play basketball and be a part of the team, and here's our rules. Not doing them. Thank you very much. Not making us better.
Right.
See you later. And I think that works for a portion of the fan base that might skew more toward me or me toward more toward older of like, hey, this is how we're going to do it, and probably appeals and probably goes to who he is. So I think that's good. Like the women, the addition of some teams probably doesn't make it easier. And I think the wonderful thing that I didn't hear this year, because they were somewhat successful and the schedule was a little friendlier. For me, like the mileposts in men's basketball season are like schedule release, and then a week later, people bitching about no Saturday afternoon games or midweek games to Jordan Center or travel or stuff like that. Seems like with the way the Big Ten has gotten bigger, those challenges are going to be hard for every team to feel like the Big Ten loves them in scheduling. So I guess I wouldn't be shocked if that pops up at the beginning of next season. But I also think Rhodes has struck me at least as where and when? Okay, we'll be there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a refreshing mentality from the top.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And it's he he and I think Micah Shrewsbury did this as well. And I don't think the previous coach before them did this, but or he they're kind of like, okay, like we're here. This is great. Like we know we will get more people to come to the games if we win. So let's worry about winning as opposed to selling, I think
Right.
is the best way to put it. And that's what I feel, and that's why I kind of just feel comforted by what can or could happen next. I don't think like, and this is way too early, but like, because like I said, there's a lot. I don't think next year's a failure if they don't make the tournament, but I just want to see growth next year. I think going from year one to year two, and as long as I can see that as a fan, um, I'm happy. So yeah, feel good. Okay.
Very good.